Hello and welcome. 12 noon, we delve into one particular issue and we talk about it at length. There was so much debate yesterday and so much hate hurled at Ravindra Jadeja. 2 points to this show. One, the timing of the declaration and why we think that the declaration was timed perfectly. And two, why we reckon that the hate directed at Ravindra Jadeja was wrong and unfair. Let's start with the declaration point. Why don't you start? We've been making this point yesterday all day, that the declaration would come at a time when India will have that many number of overs, which will also keep the new ball relatively new for today. And that's exactly what happened. Why don't you explain that?
To understand why India did this, first of all, you have the proof of what Akashdeep and Mohammad Siraj did from both ends. Completely ran through the top order of the English batting lineup. But if you go back to day before yesterday, that final 1 hour, where it proved very, very difficult for KL Rahul and Karun Nair to negate that new ball. Chris Woakes, even though he was tired, Bryden Cast, even though he was tired, they were both spitting fire from both ends. And it did get difficult to negate that new ball. And it was the final 1.5 hour. They had bowled 13 overs from that ball. And it is precisely what the strategy that India was also going for. See, it was never about the runs. It was never about the runs. It was always about the timing. You made a tweet yesterday, 25 minutes before the declaration was already done. And you said 25 minutes later, you might hear a call for declaration. And it was always very, very clear, at least in our minds, at the very start of the day, that they would want to put England to bat at the very last hour, because you see the conditions. It's very overcast, it's very windy with that new ball, and Mohammad Siraj and Akashdeep well rested and coming in fresh would be lethal, and they were.
Yeah, so 3-4 things here. One point that Gargi very rightly made is the point about runs. It was not about 575 or 608. Never was. It is not about 550 or 608. 550 was good enough. No team has ever chased down 550 on the last day, and no team will. And we know that. So it was not about, why is India pulling it, and are they afraid of England? Will they play baseball and 600 runs? That was never the fact. The fact is, India was calibrating that this Duke's ball, when does it become soft? Is it 30 overs? Is it 35? Is it 27, 28? When this Duke's ball stops to do something. That's absolutely imperative to know and get it right when you're trying to get a win here. So their thought was, if you see the point that Gargi was making yesterday morning, the spell from Bryden Cast and Chris Woakes, they came in with a 13-over-old ball. And for the first whole hour, Bryden Cast and Chris Woakes bowled in tandem. And fantastic spells. You've seen KL Rahul edge. You've seen Karun Nair edge multiple times. We've even seen, after Karun Nair got out, KL Rahul getting bowled to a ball that moved a shade. So the ball was still doing something for about an hour and a half. And then batting was easy. Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant, ball got soft. They started tonking it around. For the first 1.5 hours of yesterday, the ball was doing a bit. Now, 1.5 hours is what? 15, 17 overs? So 16, 17 overs plus the 13 to about 30 overs. So that's what the threshold is. That you get that opportunity, with the new ball. India wanted the new ball to also stay newish on the fifth morning, so that the two premier bowlers, or three, Akashdeep, Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna, can come in with a fresh burst, can come in with a 5-6 over spell each, and then Prasidh gives another 3. If that happens, they reckon, or they will certainly hope, that with the 15 overs on the final day, today, if they have a good opening burst, they will have 5 down by then. That was the Indian ploy. And it worked absolutely to perfection. Because when you're talking of a 30-over day, like yesterday afternoon, you've got to bowl 30 overs, means that the faster bowlers will know, okay, it could be a 5-over burst. And then we might be brought back for a final 2-over burst at the end. When you know that it's a 14-15-over day, I will go full throttle for a 7-over burst. I'll go maximum for an 8-over burst, and that's what Akashdeep did. Akashdeep bowled almost 8 on the trot. Mohammad Siraj came back from the other end. Prasidh bowled a couple.
Yes.
So the fast bowlers knew that we have been given this opportunity. We will go bang on with 600 on the board. That is why I think the declaration was absolutely perfectly timed.
Absolutely. And when you look today, it's overcast conditions. The number one thing that I keep talking about is overcast conditions. And yesterday as well, when Chris Wokes and Bryden Cast were bowling in that very treacherous wind, very overcast, it was quite chilly as well. And the ball was actually giving you lateral movement. It was actually giving you something that we hadn't seen in the last 3 days. So when you look at it today as well, I am expecting, because that ball is only 16 overs old, it will give you movement. It's not that old. It will give you movements for another 15 overs, maybe till it's 25, 26 overs old. You've got a Mohammad Siraj who's spitting fire.
At least the first hour you will see enough movement.
100%. I think yesterday as well, you saw more than one hour of swing. And if Prasidh Krishna is bowling those lines, if Akash Deep is bowling his line, and Mohammad Siraj, as always, like he stepped up in this game, if he continues to step up like that, you've got a good game set up. You're actually looking at a win.
Oh, 100% India's looking at a win.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, India's looking at a win. Two more parts to the show. I hope you've understood why we've been saying that the declaration was perfectly timed. Ravindra Jadeja. I thought it was unfair hate. At that point when Rishabh got out, there was still work to be done. India was still 350 ahead, and India needed 450 plus, close to 500 runs to be able to go safe. And he had to bat out with his captain because Nitish Reddy did not score too many. Yeah. So if Ravindra Jadeja gets out there, all of a sudden it's Nitish Reddy who hasn't scored. And then you're talking about Washington Sundar and the tail. So Ravindra Jadeja's innings to be out there with Shubman Gill, steer India past that 450, 500 run lead was critical. Also, he was batting with his captain. Multiple times, he could have been told this is the strategy. So the hate directed at Ravindra Jadeja, according to me, was entirely unfair.
I think, first of all, one point is when we're watching from the outside, you want certain things to go your way. But it's not like that. Maybe something else, a different strategy is being played out or executed in the middle. And how can you know what is going on in the middle if someone is bowling like that? And the point that you brought up, he's bowling with the captain. If he's batting with the captain, if something is going wrong, Shubman Gill can easily go up to him and say, bro, you need to switch gears. You can't bat like this. And the second part of it was like we said earlier as well, it was never about the runs. They were never in a hurry to go past that 500 run mark. You knew that you had enough batters in the team behind Ravindra Jadeja as well. That will get you past that mark. Shubman Gill was well settled in. So you really had nothing to worry about when it comes to the runs part. The thing that they were keeping in mind was 5 o'clock. You had to bat till 5 o'clock and exact on dot, they called it, they declared it.
Final clinching evidence on behalf of Ravindra Jadeja. Even when Shubman Gill was out, India did not declare. Even when Gill was out, they sent Nitish Reddy.
Yeah.
Then when Nitish Reddy was out, they sent Washington Sundar.
Yeah.
Why? Because they knew we are batting time here. You've got to bat time, get it right with the new ball. Get that new ball number of overs spot on, and that is why they were batting time. They had a target in mind. They had crossed that target. They had crossed that 550 threshold. They had already achieved that. Now they were batting time. So Shubman Gill, even when Shubman Gill got out, had India been in a hurry to declare with runs, they could have done that right then. Why continue? Why continue with a Nitish Reddy and a Washington Sundar for an additional 10-15 minutes? You could have bowled 3 more overs. That was not part of India's game plan. So Ravindra Jadeja was doing exactly what his team had asked him to do and was batting with his captain, giving captain the opportunity to steer the innings in a manner that the captain wanted. So I thought Ravindra Jadeja, by the way, 50s in both innings.
Yes.
Critical 50. First innings, 211 for 5. Comes in, scores an 89. Today you are dominating this match and bossing this match largely because of that partnership. Shubman and Ravindra Jadeja.
And to put it in context, the batting position that Ravindra Jadeja comes out, it's not very easy to even get to 50s.
Oh.
And he's got back-to-back 50s. So it tells you that whatever Ravindra Jadeja is doing with the bat, he's doing it right. The management trusts him with what he's doing. And obviously today as well. And to give you an example, Prasidh Krishna, the short ball ploy where he got hammered, that was also clearly a ploy from the Indian management, because if there was anything,
England tried it. Josh Khan tried it to Shubman Gill.
They got tongued as well. So you have to understand that, you know, they're not going against Indian team's strategy and playing like that. It was not the case with Ravindra Jadeja. Again, Shubman Gill was right there with him. He could have gone on to him and said, we need to bat aggressively, but that was not the point at all. And we made that abundantly clear early in the morning yesterday.
Exactly to plan. Last part of the show, last few minutes, last 5-6 minutes, we want to talk about India's game plan on day 5.
Yes.
We had done this yesterday, India's game plan on day 4, exactly like that the script unfolded. So let's try and give you our game plan for day 5. According to me, I'll set it up and Gargi will take over. According to me, India starts with Akash and Siraj again. Shorter bursts, not the longish bursts of 7-8 overs, shorter bursts. Mohammad Siraj 4, go to a Prasidh Krishna for a 4. Akash Deep, a 5-6 over spell, and then get Mohammad Siraj from this end again for about 3-4 overs. That way, you are giving 15 overs between your 3 premier bowlers. So what I'm saying is, Akash Deep from the pavilion end, Akash Deep from the pavilion end for a 6 over burst, Siraj from the other end for a 4 over burst, gives you 10. And then Prasidh Krishna comes and takes over from the Mohammad Siraj end for 2. And after finishing the 4, Mohammad Siraj takes a break for about 2 overs when Prasidh's bowling and Akash is bowling, then comes back from the Akash Deep end again. He comes back from the Akash Deep end and bowls at least 3, so that 16 overs of the ball has now been used. It will go to 31, and by that time, the first hour, the first drinks break will happen. India has made the maximum use of that new ball with their 3 premier bowlers, Siraj and Akash Deep getting 6 each and Prasidh Krishna getting 3. We hope that in the first 15 overs, India will be able to get a couple more wickets. Your thoughts?
I had the similar strategy in mind, same to same. But I think after that drinks break, because you've already planned the entire, you've laid the entire plan out.
When do the spinners come in?
I think after the drinks break, what I was thinking was you keep Prasidh Krishna on from one end, from the other end, and pavilion end you get a Ravindra Jadeja to bowl. And then once that plays out, you also get a Washington Sundar in. Slowly, there's spinners from both ends. And if you want to give a respite or you want to change, you bring Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Other idea to this is I would get Ravindra Jadeja to bowl the moment Ben Stokes comes in.
Oh, yes.
The moment Ben Stokes comes in, yes, Mohammad Siraj picked him in the first. Use that patch, get Ravindra Jadeja on, put a short third man. He will try to sweep. He will try to play the reverse. You put a short third, block that, and you put a deep point. Block that scoring area because you've got enough runs on the board. You can have a short find for the top edge as he goes for the reverse sweep, top edge. As he goes for the reverse sweep, top edge to short third man. And if he goes for a full-blooded one, to deep point. So block that area for Ben Stokes. Get Ravindra Jadeja in from over the wicket using that rough. And that's what your chances are about. You know, and abundantly clear that there is a rough patch out there. If there is a period where Jamie Smith, like Harry Brook, Jamie Smith went for it, if there is a period where England is really taking control, and it can happen for a period, India has to stay patient. You know, on a day 5, you need 7 balls out of 540 balls in picking. Also, all day you can keep attacking, but you also know at the mind that the second new ball will come into play 65 overs into the day, and you will have 25 overs with the second new ball. Even if England 7 down, 6 down, you know you can brush it off with the 4 wickets in the final hour and a half. Exactly like it happened yesterday, day before, also yesterday when you got the 3. So with the newish ball, India will always have that opportunity, Gargi, to knock off the tail.
Absolutely. I think that's the plan. So you've got a big day coming up for India. Will they go for a win? They will absolutely go for a win.
What else will India do?
Yeah. But will they be able to back those crucial wickets in that first crucial hour? 15 overs more. You've got till the new ball starts getting soft. But Mohammad Siraj spitting fire, Akash Deep spitting fire. And from what we've seen from Prasidh Krishna yesterday, he's got what it takes. He's got what it takes. If these 3 bowlers continue doing what they did last night, it might just be that, the English batting lineup bundles up very, very quick.
So let's set it up finally for you. Fortress Edgbaston, much like Fortress Gabba, about to be breached from Brisbane to Birmingham. All B's and B here as well. This would be one of the greatest victories in the echelons of Indian cricket. I'll compare it with the Oval of 1971. I'll compare it with Melbourne of 2020. I'll compare it with Headingley of 2002. I'll compare it with South Africa of 2005-6. It'll be right up there in the test matches that I've watched. If Shubman Gill and his young team, in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, does this job, it's party time, folks. India has competed, scored 1,800 runs in this series. They deserve to win this one.
Absolutely, they do. And I can't wait to see the day. Today could be the day that the Edgbaston Fortress is breached. On that note, we will see you soon.
2 o'clock before that, live from Edgbaston Cricket Ground. Gargi Raut and I back. Thanks for watching.